Every chef dreams of creating the ultimate dish, the highest expression of taste and presentation. And today, I am honored because I am going to do just that. I'm going to create a dish using the greatest delicacy the sea has to offer. And the unbelievable thing is that it comes from the pristine cold waters of the great Southern Ocean. Not only that, it's live and as fresh as the very moment it was caught. It really is true what they say about the rarest and most precious things in life, that you often must go to the very ends of the earth to find them.
Deep beneath the waters of the world's southernmost landfalls lives the rarest and greatest delicacy the ocean has to offer. Why this, the sweetest, most succulent tasting rock lobster on Earth, can only be found in these few precious pockets of perilous ocean, we can only guess. For generations now, Wild Legend and its close-knit community of fisher families have been catching these legendary lobsters and delivering them to the chefs of the world's most discerning restaurants, fresh and vibrantly alive, as if they'd never left the sea. That they've been able to do so for so long is proud testimony to a sustainably managed quota system based on conservation and continuity. This is not just a story of live catching, but deep caring every step of the way.
The moment it's all been for has finally come. The moment of anticipation. The moment of indulgence and celebration. The moment wild legends are made for.
It's important to honour the past while looking forward, not to recount old war stories, probably unhelpful, even though it's useful knowing the history. But it's important to understand how we got to where we are now and working out how we go forward.
My family's been in the fishing business for 4 generations. My great-grandfather was tragically lost in the 30s. My grandfather went on and fished with his brother-in-law, and then ended up getting his own boat, starting his own business. And my father went fishing with him. Granddad retired, and Dad carried on through the 90s and the early 2000s, and then I come aboard in 2007 and haven't looked back since.
Dad was involved in the crayfishing industry from early 60s, and this is out of Riverton. And that's where I grew up, so the crayfishing industry was just part and parcel of what we'd done. And I went to school, I'd come home after school and the boats would come in and they were just day fishing at the time, so I'd go down to the wharves and see them each day. Well, since day one, my dad was a crayfisherman, so I've grown up with crayfish. So crayfish mean a lot to us, and as a family, we've sort of built our lifestyle around the crayfish industry.
1977 I got into lobster fishing. We used to come to Mar here on our holidays, my wife and family, back in the early 70s. Got to know Charlie, went out fishing with him. Then one day in 1977, my youngest son was 3 months old, and I said to my wife, why don't we come up here and go fishing? She said, if that's what we want to do, that's what we'll do. One of the best moves I ever did. I was shepherding before that.
From when I was, it's my life, right? Crayfishing is our lives and has enabled us to have our dreams, basically, and be in a job.
The company was really formed from at a stage in the fishery when it was heavily overfished, and so I was involved in the fisheries management and trying to set out conservation measures in the development of the quota management system at a national level.
The circumstances where we were going, we were tailing, and we were about to have quota management system was about to come in, and we needed to change what we were doing to survive, and we couldn't keep doing what we were doing, so we had to go from tailed into live lobster, and into that time it was into Japan. So,
if you're asking me what it means to me, it's been both a terrific livelihood and it allows me to get and live and work in a place that I absolutely love.
Being in the industry for 44 years, you cover a lot of stuff. Legacies, I think just being involved in the industry and having my name there, it's incredible. But being part of evolving the industry from a very whole lot of independent people into a whole community of fishers that all believe in the same outcomes and the same beliefs.
Three of us started thinking the time we set up ourselves, and just about everything we tried to find areas we could do it, it just didn't work. It looked like it was hard to ever get an area that they considered we could put a commercial premise in. They finally, I think it came via the council, they gave us a spot next to the rubbish dump. No fresh water, and more likely bad liquid leaching from the rubbish dump. And so we threw our hands up in the air. It looks like they're just not letting us get into business here. So we were still dreaming up this idea when we had a visit from Masakano from Japan. So we talked, and the way he talked, we would have a factory which they'd help contribute to put up. And he rang me and he said, we've got a factory. I said, have we? And he said, yes, in Mount Maunganui.
Southern rock lobster is the highest value lobster in the world, bar none. The flesh is firm, it's sashimi grade lobster, and it has a 20 to 30% premium over every other lobster species in the world.
Quality to us, it means everything. We're the start of the chain, and if we don't get it right, it's impossible for everybody else.
Quality means the world to me. I like to think that the product coming off this vessel is of top quality, and we're fortunate in the area that we fish in Fiordland, having nice cold water, clean water, and the fish that comes out of our waters is of top quality.
Doesn't age, number one. If it loses a leg, you can grow it back, and it tastes good. And the Chinese call it the red dragon. So.
The many species in the world all have their own uniqueness in its character and its colour and that. But what I see is something it's unique in regards to its character.
We do all sorts of crazy stuff to try and keep the quality right, especially in summertime. We start work at sometimes 3, sometimes 4, so that we're finished before the heat of the day.
I like to think that every fish that leaves my boat is of premium quality.
Within New Zealand, we're working with over 80 fishing families, some of whom have been fishing also for 40 years. We take the responsibility to work with them and to serve them extremely seriously.
Because none of this works unless the catchers are doing well, and that only works if they're being paid the best money that Fiordland can pay the catchers for landing the fish.
We've got a fantastic relationship with FLC. There's not many big companies when the boss man knows who you are and you can talk to them, and right through all the managers.
So my relationship with Fiordland Lobster Company starts 20 years ago. I've fished for other companies, and it just got to the stage where these guys are the best ones to work for.
I thought it was a great union of two very solid companies getting together and actually sharing knowledge.
Communication's the biggest thing with keeping both sides up to date with quality. If we see something that we're not happy with, we can discard straight away. If Fiordland Lobster Company is picking up something on their side, they're really good at communicating a quality issue and getting back to us to be able to fix the issue.
We started off small, giving them 5–10% of our catch, and it's just built up as time's gone on. And in that time, I've got to know the guys more, become a shareholder, eventually become a director actually, and great guys to work for, most professional, the most market-centric guys.
Okay, number one, look after the resource, the fishery, and number two, look after the fishermen. Simple as that, because it's a people business.
Sustainability for the next generation is crucial. If we can keep sustainability going the way it is at the moment, the next generation will have a better fishery than what we have now.
What's probably changed the most in our fishery over time is just the health of our fishery. But when we started, catching fish was very, very difficult. Our catch rates were really low. We were working 250 days a year. Now I only probably work 100 days a year, and we catch way more fish than we ever used to.
When you own a significant stake in the fishery, you do get some say with that, because you want to make sure it's well looked after, and there's the incentive to do that. There's so much value.
The biggest change I've seen in my time is probably the how healthy the fishery's got. From when I started to where we are now, it's astronomical through good management and good sustainability where the fishery has gone. Another thing that's changed is when I started, a lot of fishermen that were there when I was a kid have all started to retire, so you got the next wave of fishermen starting to come through. So it's quite a noticeable change.
You've got to have that family, but business is all about people. You've got the wrong people, you lose all the money. It's not all about money, it's all about people, and that's what they need to teach at university.
Yeah, I think what has been successful is development of young fishermen. Having a company of this size, we have the ability to do things that smaller companies don't have. And for my role within that, it is when we're bringing new people on, it's about the key piece they need to get into, or to be brought into the industry, is having that long-term surety of supply of quota as a catch plan. So that's probably one of the better ones.
There was some hard times being by myself, and Garth being by himself, especially when the kids were babies. He would come home and they'd changed.
Yeah.
And that was pretty hard at times, yeah.
And so our time at home wasn't a lot, but I'm pretty sure it was quality time. And if there's events on at the school or something like that, we can normally, sports, I can normally work it so that we're home for those periods. So
yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, we had special traditions, I guess, and I think every fishing family does. So Garth was always home for every child's 5th birthday to take them to school.
Yeah.
Getting the live lobster system up and running, and how we went piece by piece by piece to build the whole package and then put it on a plan. We drew the plans ourselves. We sourced all the products and the equipment ourselves, and also the people that we engaged with, and that was a very powerful thing. When we finally built the factory and was getting it up and running, we were informed But we were informed that we were the largest in-water seawater system in the world.
Through COVID, the effort and the bravery of the Fiordland staff was outrageously impressive. Our bankers still hold the company up as a poster child of how to get through tough times, and that was all about every single staff member and the management team and the board.
I went to Massey University, worked my ass off, got a B bursary, was doing a vet course, got sick of reading books and bugger it. Went to the freezing works for 6 months, made some money, bought a car, sold the car, bought an outboard, went to the local vicar and bought his boat for $100 and we went crayfishing.
The company that I was supplying my fish to at the time said to me, came and had a meeting with me and said to me, I'll give you 3 months and you won't last. Well, he's long gone and we're still going, so that was really good.
That's the most thing we're proud of, is that sharing of all our information. And a real big thing overall would be like Dennis and I, brothers in business for 50 years. How often does that happen? But we recognise each other's good points, and sure, we've got nobody's perfect, bad points, but we...
With the company, probably the biggest turnaround for the company was moving to a professional chairman. So I was chairing the company, at that time, and we really, the company had grown to the point where we needed someone to come in that had a bit of commercial grunt, because we were just fishermen, so,
Unfortunately, that I made a New Zealand book of shipwrecks. Lost the boat in the first 3 months, completely wrecked in huge seas, and the crew got drowned.
Fiordland, what we're trying to do is take a very, very old school traditional industry and bring it into the 21st century with technology that we believe that we can bring to shorten the period of time from forecasted consumer demand through to supply. It's such an exciting time in the world with the developments of AI, new technologies, new algorithms and the way to treat data.
So that type of evolving and technology is I don't think it'll ever stop. It'll obviously keep going. And now we've got AI, so you could probably ask it to do something now.
I think the wild legend story has got many more chapters to go. Fiordland Lobster was the start of live export out of New Zealand. I think we're only a short distance into that journey.
Right through the value chain, it's people. So you manage the relationships with people and look after people, and you're going to do fine.
When a person can come in with the right attitude, you're going to get the right results and the right outcomes.
The challenge of that is to make sure that we don't lose the culture of what we are as we've grown into a $500 million company. So we're not resting on our laurels, we're taking our large-scale world position of the best product in the world, and we're starting to think of what new innovative things we can do with that product to make life even better for us.
You know that feeling when you remember the taste of something that takes you back to a special moment when you thought, wow, it doesn't get better than this. Yet when you do taste it again, it's even more amazing than how you remembered it. You know that feeling? Because that's how I feel every time I make this dish. And I must have made it, I don't know how many times over the years. And every time I make it, it's always the same. I always think, ooh, it's even better than I remembered it. And I always laugh because it always surprises me just how different and delicious these wild legend southern rock lobsters are. Maybe it's the fact that they come from such a pristine natural environment and have such big fleshy tails that makes them so different. Why are these little guys so different? I mean, not just the taste, the flavor, but the whole experience, the quality of it, and the delicacy of the clean, clear flesh melting in your mouth.
Deep beneath the waters of the world's southernmost landfalls lives the rarest and greatest delicacy the ocean has to offer. Why this, the sweetest, most succulent tasting rock lobster on Earth, can only be found in these few precious pockets of perilous ocean, we can only guess. For generations now, Wild Legend and its close-knit community of fisher families have been catching these legendary lobsters and delivering them to the chefs of the world's most discerning restaurants, fresh and vibrantly alive, as if they'd never left the sea. That they've been able to do so for so long is proud testimony to a sustainably managed quota system based on conservation and continuity. This is not just a story of live catching, but deep caring every step of the way.
And the fact that it comes to me straight from the sea, the great Southern Ocean. So I get to create not just an incredible seafood experience, but a memory that's always there to remind me, it doesn't get better than this.